So this is just a real simple 5e dashboard for your players. Most of it, except for what is specific for a character, goes back to a singular campaign database. From here, you can add different things, monsters, NPC, villains that your characters encounter, locations, organizations that they're involved in, add more PCs into this. Everything is broken down into a role. Let's see. A lot of it can be used whenever they're created here. You can connect them to specific PCs, but that's best for editing. Session notes, you can come here and check for all the sessions over all your different players if you want to look or organize or kind of look at them between different sessions. Maybe you have games that are similar, or you're running the same game or playing in the same kind of module. Monsters, not as big of a thing unless you're going to just kind of keep a reference of some of the monsters that you fight. You've got your PCs in this one. These are nothing but views of the exact same thing that we looked at first. And this, you can see all of your characters. They don't show here because I don't have them actually keyed up to be in campaigns. This is broken down from a GM's table that I created so that I could use it to run my D&D and my Pathfinder games. And I cut it down simple so that we could just run it for players. I'll show you real quick how to create a character. Right after we got others down here, your locals, organizations, linked rules. I just put down some of the rules for 5e, made them kind of easy to categorize in case someone didn't want to just hop on the internet and then look around for them. It's pretty easy, pretty well sorted. There's some reference links. Spell list. This is something that I found a long time ago, and I can't find who created it, so I can give them credit for it. But I'll have to put this as a link for something free on my account. But it's got a lot of the spells in there, and I'll show you on the character sheets how I separate them. I've added a couple things in some places. Let's get to that. When you're going to start off, you're going to start a new campaign. First thing you want to do is you'll just hit new. You'll hit PC Lite. I do have a much code heavier PC. That's going to be one of my others that I release, but this one is much easier to deal with for people. So, real easy. You have your saves, you have all of this, you have your stats, buffs, the bonuses involved. So number, any buffs you have that either spell or anything else, then you got the full bonus. You can use this buffs table to take some of your common buffs and, okay, for the next round I'm using shield, or next minute or whatever. And then that way I know that I can go up, change it, and then I will always have a base, and I will always have the current. And if you put everything into buffs, you'll be able to figure out how you came up to the new buffed numbers for whenever you're making attacks. Shield, you can add full descriptions. we've got nothing but effects effect, and then duration, and then status, whether or not. It's just something real simple, real easy. Class I got down here. I like doing this with all of my characters and my wife's characters, is I take them and then I take any archetypes and I replace or add whatever they add, regardless of what game system we're using, and I make sheets like this. And then it's got everything into it, and it's just cut and paste, replacing what you need to replace. I also will go in and by levels, I will add in all the feats that we need, that we plan for, or just list something as like a free feat, especially when you're in a system like we do a lot of Pathfinder, and so it's real feat heavy. But class abilities for you, you can hide these databases real quick. They're just inline, so they don't really go anywhere else. Uses per days left. You can put all of your abilities here. You can put all your passive abilities here. I do have another spot for this. I specifically did this so that you could have one or the other. This way you've got something for class levels, if you're going to be a spontaneous cast or anything. Any of your abilities that you have that are spell abilities, like you have something that lets you cast a cantrip, you can now put this on here, put however many times you're allowed to cast it, however many you have left per day, and you'll just go and reset them like you would a character sheet. This is just a link to, oh, well, I deleted it, but a link to a spell from the previous list. Feats, same thing. It's all in line, real simple, all collapsible, so that you can get it out of the way if you don't want it. Death saves, succeeds, fails. I found this, and I put a link up to it. Found this like a year and a half ago or something, and it is just a simple roller. Let's be honest, everyone's going to use dice, but I figured I'd add it just in case. Place for extra notes, all of your attacks. Iteratives, you don't really have that in this edition. But you can put down the number of attacks that you have, and then what they are with the weapon or your sword, and any additional attacks you can add onto this, or you can take it. It's not a big deal. It's just something that's expandable for you that you can use. If you had something where you were constantly using specific buffs and you wanted to do the math ahead of time, just click add to it. You can add another line. It's real easy. They're all just simple tables. I have several different inventory areas through some of these. This one's just real simple. You can add just a common inventory box over to the side if you want. Just something so you can keep track of everything that's on your character. I do have things like this, which are just backpacks, and so they have lists in here of all the stuff you're carrying. If you're like me, I like to have my players keep track of all their stuff as well as what's in their backpack and the weight of them. These are specific lists for your characters. So if you look at filter, they're filtered by the database for whatever you name this character. And this will show you NPCs that you interact with if you want to just make lists of them or tables, or you can do a gallery view if you want to put pictures of what you think the characters look like. You can see the exact same thing for villains or BBEGs, put specific things and notes for them. Same things for locations, organizations, news, or items that you have if you want to. A lot of it, when it comes to items, I would probably just put into a sheet for inventory. There's your rules again, the links, and then this right here. These are sessions. I'll have to make this up. But you can take these session notes and you can link them directly to your character, or you start another one and you're going to have like session 0, you'll have session notes that you can pick from, aspirations, goal, history, time, events. This way you can pick a style for your session notes. You can add a tag for it, or you can just add a box in there that it's your, your backstory or something. It's an easy place to put it if you don't want to just, make a page for it real quick on the actual body of your sheet. And then this all goes in, and everything you create is connected to this character, so that you can have as many of these as you want. It's not a big deal. And they will all be separate from the way that you have for all your other characters. There's blank ones. I use a mix of blank ones and ones that are organized. So this is one of the ones that I'll use for like my GMs whenever I'm running games. Usually I use blank ones, and then I lock together a bunch of these toggles so that I can separate things, and I will separate encounters and loot and NPCs and stuff whenever I do it. But it's really easy to use Notion to make you a character sheet that you can constantly mess with and you don't have to worry about. But I figured I'd show everyone this, and I'll probably make some videos on some other stuff that I've got, including the GM one that I built.